Ladies and gentlemen, boys and Billy Johnson, Off the Bench is back with this week's episode of Hot Soup. And if you're new here, I'm Flip. And as always, I'm joined by Rippy and G. What's up, fellas?
What up? What up?
Yo, what's going on, boys?
It's going to be
Seeing them hand movements.
be a great night. Hot Soup is brought to you by Creative AUTOSPORTS Restorations, a.k.a. CAR. They are located at 3382 Warren Drive in Waterford, Michigan. You can check them out online at creativeautosportsusa.com or on Facebook at CAR, Creative Autosport Restorations. All insurance companies are welcome. They pay your deductible. They are lease turn-in specialists, which means if you have a dent or a ding or a scratch or something you need to take care of before you turn that lease back in, they can help you out. And they also do custom paint and restoration. So you can get that old school out the garage and get it back on the road in no time. Contact our boy Dave at 248-599-3104. Tell him Off the Bench sent you, and he will hook you up with cash discounts for softball players. Drop bombs for my man Dave.
Dave.
Also, our Off the Bench page is doing 2 giveaways. One we are I believe we're almost 100 likes away from, which is at
almost there, baby.
2,000 page likes. We will be giving away a Smash Ops Gorilla backpack, and at 5,000 page likes, we will be giving away a Smash Ops Gorilla roller bag, both courtesy of Koval Softball. Drop bombs for Mr. Koval.
Boy, Koval, appreciate you.
All the people that support this show, we are very grateful and always will be.
Big much.
And I will
My man Hunter's got jokes.
Oh, no, it's not jokes, Rip. It's facts.
That's fast. That's hashtag fact.
I'm gonna fuck both y'all up.
I'll be seeing G.
I mean,
and
he's smiling
Mr.
already way more than he did last week.
He was smiling when we got on the chat, bro. He was good to go.
Yeah, he was ready to go.
Rippy said, "My guys are here."
Oh boy,
we got some good topics of discussion for the night. For those who do not follow us or randomly clicked on our page just to see what was going on, we asked earlier on our page for some topics. So we're nearing the midway point of the season, especially for us Michigan guys. Again, if you're new here, we are mainly a Michigan-based show, but we are trying to branch out. We are at a point where we can kind of talk about more things now. What teams look like they got a chance this year? What teams don't? What teams surprised us? What teams kind of folded under the pressure, et cetera, right? Talk about some players who are in the running for maybe some awards at the end of the year. Maybe talk about some lack of tournaments for a sanction or so. Just some topics that have been brewing up over the past, I'd say, 8 hours when I posted it, 10 hours ago, whatever it was up there.
And for everyone that sent stuff into us, comment and post on there, we appreciate you. That interaction's great.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and literally we're just trying to give y'all what you're looking for. So if you're, interacting with us, greatly appreciated.
Yeah, big time.
Also, before we get into other topics, usually our Tuesday show is us recapping the weekend and going over tournaments. There were no sanctioned tournaments this past weekend for us to really recap. However, I do want to go over the Keys Memorial Tournament that we promoted. I believe it was a few weeks before the tournament. We'll go over the winners, the awards that they give out, and obviously all our love goes to Mama Keys and her family. So the information I got is Taryn Nicole's team called I Am Confusion won the co-ed, and Team Galia won the draft. Galia's roster was AG, Bart Fox, Brandon Hambook, Brittany Smith, James Wilk, Jalen Mack, Joe Pugliano, Mason Langton, Michael Amos, Renee Zembricki, Steve Lempicki, and Tom Simpson.
Hey, here's a flamingo.
Round of applause for those teams one time.
I see a Rob Hall sighting, by the way.
Rob Hall was out there, yes.
Rob Hall was out there, yeah.
Yes,
All
Rob
right.
plays, but he doesn't play. Do you know what I mean? He's out there in league and stuff like that. He just can't commit to a tournament team. Ayala, here you go. Retro, you know what I'm saying? Throwback.
Got that throwback on today.
Throwback on, feeling good. The awards that they give out are sportsmanship awards, which I think is a super dope concept, especially for a tournament like that. The winners of this year's Mike Keys 2022 Sportsmanship Awards For the male is Brent O'Neill, and female is Lori Ruggiero. Round of applause for both of those. So shout out to the Keys family, Mama Keys. Every year it is a draft style tournament that people participate in, and we encourage everyone. If you didn't check it out this year, make sure you check it out next year. It is for a great cause and in memory of, I believe, I didn't meet Mike, but I know a lot of people in the community were good friends with him, so they play in his honor. So definitely check that out if you haven't. There's a Facebook page for it. You can go look it up on there and get more details for the next year's tournament. As far as weekly rankings, this week we are kind of switching it up. We're going to go over the rankings for One Nation and where every team is matched up at this point in the year. So as of June 21st, we can check what team leads each division for One Nation. And I'm very interested in looking at these, and we will be discussing them as well.
Is that just the state of Michigan, right? Mm-hmm. Or are you doing it for everything?
I didn't do national. This is just state of Michigan.
What are you drinking over there? What is that?
Corona.
Oh,
this is not a paid advertisement. It's just delicious.
Two Tuesdays for Flip.
All right.
You said hot
Damn.
soup, dog.
Did you get bit? Are you like a grown man status? No lime in that either?
There's lime in there.
All right.
I get lime juice. Okay, mommy's gonna make you one, okay? My bad. All right, so let's jump.
She getting a Corona too?
If she wants one, you want Corona? She'll probably say, yeah. Let me not even ask, bro.
I'm gonna say you're gonna get yourself in trouble.
Or she's my twin, dude. She probably will definitely have one. So let's jump into men's C rankings for the state of Michigan as of 6/21/22.
Can't be that high up there.
In first place, you got Taffin with a record of 16-5. Second is Sting with 15-6. Third is Koval at 10-7. Fourth is Super Friends at 12-9. And fifth, you have Broadstone with a 3-4 record. So at this point, G, you might have a little more insight. Excuse me, due to the fact that you are playing C. What do you think of the C division in Michigan right now?
I mean, with what you're looking at right there, that's basically everything you got. NWO played up a couple times, I think, once or twice from Ohio, but I mean, it's basically this is what we're getting when we're playing. If you got a C tournament in Michigan, this is who you're playing against, and I mean, pretty up to par. Obviously, records speak for themselves. I mean, I've seen Koval more than I've seen Sting. I haven't played Sting, I don't even think yet, once this year. Maybe we've played Koval four or five times, Taffin, 4 or 5 times, and 3 or 4 times. So, I don't know. It seems pretty accurate. We're right about there. We haven't pieced together a good One Nation hitting tournament yet. So, I guess Mojo didn't really count because it was 30 degrees, but anybody when it's cold like that, we can basically hit the ball, I feel like.
What do you see for as far as where Michigan ranks when going out of state? Do we stand a chance from your perspective?
I think we do. We got a lot of good competition / competitors in the C division. We do have a lot of guys that are playing up from last year. A lot of guys got picked up from D teams and moved up, and there's some guys that are C plus that came down from B, and it's very competitive. I feel like we have a good core group of teams that can definitely 1, 2 to 3, if not 4, maybe all the teams that you're looking at right there can go off and make a run in Worlds if they're not playing against each other. So, we got a good core group of C teams, and it's a lot of fun to go out every weekend and play against all these guys. It's fantastic.
Rippy, what's your thoughts?
I mean, my first thoughts looking at this, 4 out of the 5 all are over 500 winning percentages, so they're all on the positive side of things. The 5th team in Broadstone, they've only played 7 games, so I think that's kind of hard to really give them that look. But I mean, just think about what they did up in
Yeah, they bring their move
Frankenmuth,
team. They're
which their move team is
it's
their
the same
normal C
team for the
team.
most part.
That's their
Yeah.
normal team with with Will and stuff on that team. So like let's be real. Like all 5 of these teams are solid ass teams. I mean, look at
Agreed.
Sting. I mean, is that 18 points for and points against 11.3?
Yep.
So, I mean, when you start looking at differentials and things like that, like each one of these teams bring different things to the table. It's going to come down to, at the end of the day, though, when we go out of state, it's going to come down to about hitting. I mean, I think all these teams could play a little bit of defense, but it's going to come down to who can hit and score, especially going to down to Berliner, because probably the C is going to be on the big boy fields. They're going to be on baseball fields. So that 300-foot home run is not not an option no more. So a legitimate home run hitter that can hit a home run on a baseball field is a very big difference maker. It's a completely different game, completely different mindset and outlook. So I think all 5 of these teams are very good teams. They're going to represent well. Do I think any of the 5 could they win it? Yeah, if they got hot. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be some stacked ass teams out there. Yeah, I mean, some good competition.
All
I
5 of
mean,
these teams can hit with the best of them, in my opinion.
that's what I'm saying. But it's all 5 will go through their peaks and valleys. Yeah, I mean they
Agreed.
could. Yeah, I mean when they're hot, any one of these teams could win a tournament any weekend. But when they're down, like any of them go 0-2. I mean, I guess that goes for anyone. But
Am I wrong to think, or like my opinion is, and it's gonna sound
Yeah.
weird, I think Broadstone is a better D team playing in C than they are a C team playing in C. Does that make sense?
I disagree because Joe Stock's their only difference, the only player difference, and Joe Stock's a very good
Big.
player.
No,
So
I know. I'm saying as far as
that's the only difference.
the way that they win, I guess I should say. Like I feel like they win more in C when they're considered a D team than they do when they're an actual C team.
It's hard to say, Flip. They've only played 7 games.
Well, I'm judging off U-Trip as well, I guess. Which
but
we'll
they're
get into.
not. Yeah, I mean, but that's not fair because they're. Yeah, I mean, it's not the same team. It's not the same rules, different games, so on and so forth. So it's not you're comparing.
No,
We're just comparing apples, oranges,
no.
oranges.
I think you're missing what. So I'm saying, so Broadstone is a D team in USSSA, right?
Mhm.
When they play C teams or C tournaments as that D team, I feel like they make longer runs or better runs than they
But that's
do when they
they've
enter
only
a C
played 7,
tournament.
but they've only played 7 games, so they've
And-
not really put the same effort towards it, and the rules difference. I mean, having that DHH is a big difference.
True. I see what you're saying.
So I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like you can't just say like, oh, well, they do better, without Will compared to when they don't have Will. Because I disagree. I mean, Will's gonna help those kids in a lot of ways. So
I agree.
and
That was
yeah, I
not
mean,
me saying they're better without Will. I don't want that out there. That do not clip that and send it to us. Not all what I'm saying.
yeah, it's just one of those things for me. Like, I think it comes down to if they would put the same amount of game time in here where they're playing as a C team as they did over there, you probably see similar results. I mean, because think about it, if they would use their 2 other moves and have put that best foot forward, like I mean, and completely went all in and picked up 2 B players to go along with Will, I mean, so that's a lot to add to a team. I mean, 2 chips is a lot to have available. So if they add that to them, I mean, that's just gonna make them a better team. So
Roger Dodger.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you look at it, I'll say this: what's going to separate all these teams, in my opinion, at the end of the day, is going to be pitching. And I know, like, they're in 3rd place right now, but my man Sammy Thiel pitching for the Plumbers is
Against us. He sees us, he's done. He knows it.
Sammy has a dope picture, by the way. I gotta give him love on that picture.
For some reason, he always says he
Yeah.
pitches against us, we score 30, and then they bring in Gordy and we can't hit him.
The picture was dope. I talked shit on it because I
Well, it's-
wanted to, but it was
That's
fun.
because Sammy's throwing flat and Gordy's throwing with that arc.
But I mean, he did do very well against us at Frankenmuth, but yeah, that's a self-proclaimed thing by him. It's just not me saying it.
So there's that, folks. You
We
have
talked about this though at the beginning of the year, Flip. If you think about it,
what?
how good the C division here in Michigan was going to be and how competitive it was. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't going to
Yeah,
be
it
like
did.
one like favorite looking. Yeah, I mean, going forward. So, I mean, if we remove G because he's going to have some bias,
Man.
I think if the Plumbers have their full team there, Cobalt, they're my pick to make the furthest run down the stretch here.
I can see that for sure. No doubt.
All right, so there's the C division for Michigan currently. Moving on to,
Up on for the C division.
how did I do this again?
Yeah.
I can do it this way. All right, men's D. So for men's D, in first place you got Murder Mitten with an 18-6 record. Second, you got Rosenau at 21-8. Third, you have Hello World at 12-7. Excuse me. Fourth, you have Hutch's Jewelry at 12-9. Fifth, you have Phenom at 11-11. And then we have Car at 8-9, Impact at 8-11, Dynasty at 9-4, Smooth at 5-9, Wrecking Crew at 4-12, Chaos at 4-7, Twins at 1-6, Syndicate at 8-6, Bulldogs 0-4, Brotherhood at 4-7, Lake Orion, Fence.
Are they putting like
It's
run
Orion.
differential into these like rankings? Into where they are lined up right here?
No, they're
Is
going
this
off
like how they're
points.
ranked?
This
These
is
are all their
going off
points.
points on the right hand side.
Okay, yeah. That's what I thought. All right.
Worst behavior 2-3, Michigan Mollis at 3-2, Renegades at 1-2, Deaf and Dope at 1-3. So these are your D rankings for One Nation, or I should say standings. Let me say standings, point standings.
G, go ahead, kick it off.
I mean, it's I've seen a lot of these teams play, I feel like, and obviously Hello World is, I feel like, to me the biggest, not surprise, but they just came in and done some work early. Obviously Rosenau's got a good squad always, and I mean, Murray Mitten, they're up there obviously being the best. It's still early. I know the Joey Cates boys and the Phenom guys got a lot to prove still, got a lot to play for. Watch out for Carr too moving forward. I know they always play scrappy with a chip on their shoulder. But I mean, all in all, it seems pretty accurate. Obviously, when Dynasty's their whole team, they'll be playing well.
I hate you.
What? You only say you play when you got your full team, so I can only talk about when you have your full team.
So I'll follow you then. I'll
when you
follow
got your full team, you'll be in the mix for sure. Don't get it twisted. You'll be up there.
I'll follow you. Yes, I agree. Us at Full Tilt is very, 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 very good in my opinion.
Unless you're Full Tilt, so that's
No.
when we can talk about.
So that's like this weekend where I committed to the tournament. I signed us up. I wanted to make sure that we played in it. When I go out there with only 6 of my guys, that to me is a problem, and I wouldn't do that in a CD where I'm trying to gauge where my team stands going forward towards the end of the year. Yeah. I'm missing 3 or 4 of my starters this weekend, but I'm giving my other guys that could start that opportunity, and then I made 1 pickup for the weekend. Possibly 2. 1 for sure, possibly 2.
You're playing, where are you playing this weekend?
Sterling Heights, yeah. The CD.
Oh.
So I'm missing a few of my guys that I wish were there, but again, it is what it is.
Ain't nobody rolling Full Tilt right now anyways.
No. But I think this year in D, the amount of teams is good. The level of competition is good. Obviously you have people at that I would consider at the back of the pack. and then you have your mid tier, and then you have those teams that you know you should expect to see in the Final Four almost at every tournament. As far as surprises, like Hello World, I don't even want to call them a surprise because I always thought they were good last year too. I thought they were a really solid team, but they're never a team that people, when you think, oh, what's the best D team or one of the best, you don't think
They
Hello
don't
World.
think of them.
No, they don't give them
Yes.
that credit. And I 100% would say that they are a top team. I think that at any given moment, they're going to knock off somebody that is considered, a powerhouse. They're very good. Car and Wrecking Crew, I think once they get their, it's going to sound weird, but their feet rolling in D, coming down from C to D. Granted,
Yeah,
it
it's gotta
seems
be
like,
tough.
it seems like it'd be easier, but they got to adjust to it. Things are a little bit different, and I think that they're always going to be threats. Hutches is going to be a solid team. Impact is still working out the kinks of moving up. Smooth, again, is a sneaky good team. Chaos is always, in my opinion, middle of the pack. Bulldogs, I don't know what's going on over there.
Teams that can whack it too.
Yeah, and Bulldogs has some decent guys on their roster, so I don't think their record reflects what talent they have, but it is what it is. Rincon with Brotherhood, I think he always puts together a solid roster. Just results don't always reflect it. I know he's got a younger team, guys that really haven't played D much. Worst Behavior, again, another team that could put up 30 on you. I don't really know too much. I know Deaf and Dope is our boy Kenny. Young Money by a million. You guys came to Michigan once and did not walk out with first place, so I don't want to hear nothing. Keep doing your thing, though. Shout out Young Money. I actually have one of you guys this weekend, and we're going to talk about...
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some things soon here.
And it's
Nader.
not Nate.
It's
huh?
not
So-
Nate.
I know it's not.
I don't have pockets for Nate. So yeah, if I'm giving you who I think will compete out of state or who I think has a legit shot, I'm gonna say that I think Murder Mitten, Rosenau. If Murder Mitten has their actual, like, their full roster, because I know he's been doing a lot of plug and play, but their normal roster, Rosenau and us, I think will be the top three. But I'm gonna give Hello World and Hutches, as well as Car and Wrecking Crew, chances to make deep runs too. What?
Well, what he said, you can just duplicate what he just said.
All right,
for
we'll
me.
turn on the light, but get off the toy box, bro. What are you doing? Yeah, I don't know. D's good to me. I think the D division this year is pretty solid, and I think this CD tournament has most of the upper tier teams, I guess I would say, because I know us, Murder Mitten, Rosenau, Hello World, Car. I think Impact might be in it as well. So I think this weekend will be good for our D division to kind of start preparing ourselves for Worlds and getting ready for another level of competition versus just beating up on each other, on the weekends. Ruby, what do you think of D? Let me turn this light on while you talk.
I think D's got a lot of talent in it. It's probably our second largest, obviously, division to E, but like top to bottom, like there's a lot of good teams in D that can make deep runs. I mean, I'm gonna start with your team, Flip. Like I know you love to use the we ain't got everyone there yet. We ain't got everyone like it's the end of June. Like I mean, you gotta start getting these dudes, get after them. I mean,
Trust me,
that shit's. I mean, that shit ain't cool. Yeah, I mean, so I can't. Yeah, I mean, you guys came out, you played one solid tournament. I mean, but that's. Yeah, I mean, something I can't anoint y'all as like being the top dogs in this division. You scroll up, please, to the top. I mean, I look at like Jason's Murder Mitten team. I mean, I've seen him look really, really good this year, but every time I've seen him like look like that team, they've also had Dugan pitch for him from Broadstone. So is that a representation of them performing like that with their pickups, or is that
Good
like
point.
when they have everyone there? And then when they do have everyone there, how is that going to all come together as a whole since they've been making their pickups. Rosenau's really impressed me this year. If you think back when we were watching them play in Myrtle, like they did not look like they were going to be a very good team this year. They were average, and they've made some pickups early, some changes, and really put that shit together. And they've, winning the Weekender, they've had their ups for sure. I think they're going to be a solid team. Every time I've watched Hello World play this year, they've hit the shit out of the ball. Like when I watched them play you guys at Mojo, like they absolutely whacked it.
They
So
hit the fuck out of the ball against us at Mojo.
yeah, Hutch's team is going to be that like scrappy, team that's just they're going to be able to hit and play with anyone. Man, as much as shit as we give Joey and the Phenom boys about running back to E, like them being 500 on the year right now. Yeah, they've have a couple, top 3 finishes this year. Like, that's good for them, And then now you drop Carr and Wrecking Crew back down in this mix. You're just really, really adding into. You're just starting to really deepen out this pool of like, well, damn, who's gonna win on the weekends? It's tough. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Like, I think there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of good teams, and no different than what I was saying about the C divisions. Who's going to get hot is down the stretch here. I mean, I like. If you're talking about now, like back to like pitching is a huge difference maker at this level. If I'm not mistaken, Parker's the pitcher for Murder Minton. So, I think Parker's a really good pitcher. I think Nico and Billy be able to. That's 2 completely different style pitching. Like, if you look at like the ways they pitch, you having Shaw and Perez. That's big time. So I don't know, man. I think it's a coin flip, and it's gonna be a dogfight down the stretch here, and it's gonna be great to watch.
Shout out to all the D teams this year in
And
Michigan.
if I didn't mention y'all, no disrespect.
All disrespect from Rip. All right, moving on to men's E. If I can get this, maybe I gotta go back here. Yeah, apparently I do. Men's E. And first you got Bum Squad. Jesus, they got so many games played in E. First you got. I know they got the
a lot of teams though.
I don't think I'm gonna go all the way down because there's like
just name the top 10.
Yeah. So first you got Bum Squad at 30-12. Then you got Juniors Boys at 26-8. Core at 33-8. MAB at 20-5. Motown Beatdown at 15-18. Warriors at 13-15. Bangers at 15-17. Nation Reborn at 14-18. Sharpshooters at 10-11. Reloaded at 6-13. Blaze at 11-12. And then it all changes up after that.
From the first look at this, if you scroll back up to the top, if you look at how impressive the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams are, like record wise, and then there's a big drop off to then everyone's just sitting right around 500 and then starts going below that from there.
Agreed.
This is all of those teams between Bone Squads, Junior Boys, Core, MAB. Dude, you might as well draw straws on every single weekend. Like every one of those teams can win any tournament they play in. You know what I mean? So, it's out of the. Yes, we have 25, 30 E teams in the state of Michigan. That's amazing. That is awesome. Love to see the numbers up, growing. That's really cool. But I think it's also when you're talking about, the top, you have 5 teams, not 2 teams competing every weekend to win. And you normally see that. So it's only normally like 1 or 2 teams, maybe 3 that's competing at that. So it's awesome to see that. Yeah, and those numbers are gaudy. 20-5, 26-8, 33-8, 30-12.
33-8, yeah.
Those are all I'm gonna say is all these motherfuckers better be in D next year with numbers like that, because you're more than dominant at the lowest division we have to
Bro,
offer.
we know it'll happen where they disperse and 5 or 6 of them end up on the same team. It's the same shit. If
Look, you've been doing it
I
for
wish they would
years.
all. I wish they would all just make them all the elite players. Then make them all elite.
I'll say the top. Yeah, some of them all is weird. Cause I don't know.
Yeah, you do.
I don't know MAB like that as far as roster wise, but if Bum Squad, Juniors, Boys, and Core don't win or don't do something this year, there's a fucking problem. You wasted a year in E. If you come out of this not winning something at Worlds or making a strong case for yourself at Worlds, you just wasted another year of softball.
Jason, I agree with you. By the way, like Twitch is another team that's right in that mix. Like,
yeah, I agree.
They have the talent. They have the talent to win these tournaments as well.
I mean, they're down. They're 11 and 12 in One Nation, but it's also, if I'm not mistaken, they forfeited a few games too.
Yeah.
I want to be streaming some E Worlds Florida fucking winter bracket final championship something or others for teams in Michigan.
We can't.
Why not?
We gotta figure
what if we
that
buy
out,
it,
man?
What if we buy the subscription? Can't we do whatever we want with it after that? We bought it.
No, it's like if you were legally streaming a UFC fight.
I was gonna say you paid for the pay-per-view. Gee, does that mean you can just broadcast it on the internet?
Yes.
So we tried that.
It's my stream to do what I want with it.
I tried that last year before we got established as off the bench, when it was just, I want to stream and commentate. Maybe this year I'll try to have that conversation again now that we've kind of got
be a more professional.
Yeah, and well, we're in good standing. I would say for the most part.
Also, I'm going to ask you boys a question.
What's up?
Now we've talked about these three divisions. We haven't gotten to the ladies yet or anything like that. We're just talking about these three divisions so far. And I love it. I mean, I see like our chats, kicking pretty good right now. People talking in there, which is awesome. I want to know, respectively in your divisions, when you've went down to the Weekender or King of the Hill or Mojo, how do you feel Michigan is stacked up versus the rest of the One Nation competition? Whether it's mostly like
numerous top 10 finishes. That's how I feel every time. C division, numerous top 10s.
I think we all have a legit shot. It's a matter of we play each other. I feel like we all play each other too much to where we get so used to that level of competition that we almost don't get that push when we go out of state. So we'll use my team as an example. So you got Dynasty, right? I know that if we play Murder Mitten, my guys are probably going to go a little bit harder because they know who we're up against. They want to win. They get hungrier. And then when we go out of state, if we're not familiar with the team, it might not be that same energy level. And again, I'm not saying my team will do this, but just as an example, I feel like if we're all across the board, if you keep that like same tenacity against other teams as you do against the top teams in Michigan, we have a legit shot. No, and Nate, like he's right. Feel like Michigan always there, just never finish them. We've been in spots to win Worlds. Yeah. I've been there multiple times. Sting was there last year. We've been there and we didn't finish. So we have the teams and the talent to do what we want and go as far as we want. It's a matter of putting it together at the end to finish it up. I hate not closing out games. I hate not closing out tournaments. I hate being right fucking there and then losing. It's like the worst feeling in the world.
Attrition.
Yeah, and like shout out to Nate and Young Money. Like they're clearly the most dominant team in Ohio and possibly the nation. I mean, their record speaks for itself. Their finishes speak for itself. So they're definitely one of those teams. Like when you go out there, you already know who they are. You know their reputation. You know how they play. You're gonna go twice as hard against a team like that versus, Billy Bob's Auto Shop that you've never heard of before. When we played a team called Buffet Boys in Ohio, bunch of bigger dudes, I was like, oh, this should be, cake. We lost. There were some calls that didn't go our way, but it was just one of those things where I feel like if we would have put forth that effort, we would have never been in that position of where those calls even mattered.
I mean, it goes back to, like, for me, like, really simple. Like, would you rather be the team everyone's looking up at chasing or the team that nobody has any fucking clue about and coming in just when playing free and loose and without a care. Yeah, I mean, everyone wants to win early. That's awesome, right? Like, well, I'll use Young Money for example, winning Mojo and all the success they've had this year. But at the end of the day, I don't care how great of a season Young Money's had, if how good they've shown to be and look. If they don't finish the job at the end of the year, then it's all for naught. I mean, congrats, you won Mojo.
Yeah,
Congrats,
I
you've
agree.
won other random tournaments in Ohio.
I agree. And
Y'all had a good season, but I guess everyone's expectations is, you have to look at like, what are your expectations as a team? Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's expectations are different. Yeah, I mean, just going into shit, they have to have expectations where it's win or bust. If they do not win, then it's a letdown. It's a failure.
well, they're so in Young Money's position. Excuse me. If that was my team, my thing would be we're already an automatic bump. So you have to win everything you can now because no matter what, you're going to see. What, baby? He's fine now. He's dry.
Why? Just was on the amount of
Yeah, so
games
and it might be the
Win
same thing.
percentage.
Yeah, it might be the same thing for I forget what the win percentage has to be, but that was like Deeds, for instance. We did great in U-Trip all year, but we did not do that great in One Nation, especially at Worlds. However, we were an automatic bump due to our win percentage. Wrecking Crew, same exact thing. I think they won Nationals or was top 2 at Nationals. Automatic bump. And now you see them moving back down because it was like, do we really stack up? In Deed's case, a lot of those guys moved up to C and play with Taffin. So you see where, you know.
Okay, well that's a huge difference. We'll use those two teams, right? Deeds basically combined and picked up people and created an actual C team. Did Wrecking Crew or Car, did they put in that same, I don't want to say work or effort, but like, did they make those type of changes to take their D team and evolve it into what was necessary to C team, or did they just basically say
Wrecking Crew tried to?
we're just going to run it out there?
Well, see, and
I have no idea. I don't know. I love Gav.
I don't exactly know. I know they tried to make some moves early in the season. I'm pretty sure they tried. They've been trying to play up.
I mean, if they tried and they just can't, pick the pieces up, no one wants to go there. Well, I mean, there's nothing they can do on that. I mean,
well, that's the thing too. Is for instance, again, running back to Deeds, a lot of those guys have ties to C managers. So, like every year for the past 2 years, me and Craig have always built a PSL team where we work together, we build a roster, we go down to PSL Worlds for fun. Craig was familiar with majority of the Deeds guys from the leagues out in like Mount Clemens and stuff like that. And then we play the PSL. So he kind of sees where that talent is and if he can use them. The outfield we had at PSL with Buck, T-Mac, and Perk, and then now they've added Melosi into that mix. That to me is a scary fucking outfield to have all the way around. There's not one guy that lacks different than the other guy does.
To me, Taffin's issue is not going to be defense. I mean, they can pick it. They can run. They're a bunch of young kids. Like, they're all athletes. It's going to be if they can consistently hit on the big fields with some of these teams that are going to come in and put that pressure on them. Now, because they can pick it, if one of those teams come in and they don't hit, their defense will squeeze some teams and make it even harder for them to score runs, which is, the balance there. But it's at the end of the day, this is an offensive game. You got to score runs.
100%.
I mean, but if Jimmy or anyone from One Nation, if you guys are in this and you guys see, if you don't mind, either message one of us or in the on here. I'm curious, what is the winning percentage that is kind of looked at upon as a standard for being a fringe between being a bump from one class to another?
While we're waiting on that, we'll move forward.
What would be your guys' over and under if we had to set a off the bench sports book? What would your winning percentage be? Mine would probably be at like a 675, maybe 700. I'll go 700.
I think
I'm
Shane
gonna say
might
it's
be
like
right at
between
65.
I would say it's got to be 60,
It's
65%.
right
Like
above
700.
500.
700's a crazy winning percentage, in my opinion.
I mean, hey, you see all the wins these guys are getting nowadays.
I guarantee,
man.
unless these teams lose out, bro, especially in E, those top 4 teams, they're gonna be
It's 4 or
automatic
5.
bumps. No, the top 4 were the high records. Fifth was 15 and 18 or something like that, or 15 and 16. Those top 4 are
For
gonna be
sure.
automatic bumps. It's not. There's no
But
question about it.
But even if you look back at those 4 teams, right? All 4 of those teams were built with
Reclassed.
reclasses and things in mind, like where they're building for this type of success. They should know what, and that goes back to my if you're a national bump like that and you're that dominant, like you should not. You should the next year you should be locked into playing at the next level.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
sorry.
It's winner, but like you said too, winner bust. You did
I
all
mean,
this building and winning and all this shit early in the year. If you lose at the end of the year, all those earlier tournaments and shit like that, that money is now gone. You've spent it. All that recognition you had with your boys is now gone. You're moving into the next year, and then what? Are you gonna reclass again, or say this guy was a role guy, or this guy only ran bases for our pitcher? Like, I'm curious to know what's. I'm finishing this year strong, obviously, is my plan, but I am looking forward to seeing how things play out next year, especially now that we go over things like this.
You do that every year.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I get about no. I start looking at shit differently. Like I'm very curious to know how things will play out for the following season.
so like I guess here, I know they got brought back, and if Wrecking Crew made cuts on players to get under and they're a legitimate legal D team that way, respect that. Like they made a tough decision and they sacrificed that to be a legal team. It's a legal roster. But yeah, if you had a winning percentage like that, at the end of the day, dude, there's going to be the best team. I'm not a fan of midseason bums. So part of me saying that there's going to be the best team at each division, and there's going to be a worst team at each division. Yeah, it sucks when you're the worst team, and it's awesome when you're the best team. Yeah, but unfortunately, ride it out, play the game. Yeah, it is what it is. Like you've put yourself in that position to get there. Like you've had success. So you obviously were too dominant. Yeah, you were that dominant of a team the year before in your lower class. The class you were prior.
So Zach Hurt just put too, if we don't win a ring, it's a failure. 100%, none of this shit matters. And I speak for most of junior boys when I say we want to move up. I'd be in D still if I was healthy.
Hey, respect that. Like, but that's,
100%.
Hey, it's June 21st. Keep that same energy, brother. When we're talking about that shit.
First day of summer, y'all.
Yeah. So moving forward into the women's, the only women's B team we have is Doe Babes, and the record's 4-5. I don't think that their record reflects their talent or what they're capable of. So I don't even want to speak. I think Doe Babes is a very solid team. I think they have been for the past X amount of years that they've been together. The whole Doe fam thing, like, again, I respect the hell out of Nick and Liz for what they've built. I think Doe Babes can make some noise out of state at any given moment.
It's tough.
I agree.
At the B level in men's or women, you're now playing in that weird area where money is really, really necessary to be thrown around, and it's no longer the same game as playing locally. Yeah, and I'm not talking about money being thrown around to players. I'm talking the play. You want to play, you have to travel. Yeah, it's you're not playing as a B team in Michigan,
right? There's
right. Who the Doe Babes? Who would they play? They're the only B team. So who are they going to play? So for them necessarily to play, they either have to go to Ohio, Indiana. I know it's One Nation, but playing the women's conference, which that involves money and travel, and it's a different game. So
big time.
For them being 4-5, it's. For them just to be active and playing at that level is respectable.
100%. So moving to women's C, one team in C, Daddy Hacks at 5-4. Same thing. I don't think that they're record reflects what they're capable of. I think again another team that can definitely make a run out of state, and I believe they have already this year, if I'm not mistaken.
So I think
Well,
where
but
majority of those
this,
5 wins came from, I believe.
but this is where these numbers start getting skewed. Like how many times has Daddy Hex had to play Dough Babes? How many times have they played? Like remember one tournament this year we seen was that Angry Beavers team coming from Ohio or Indiana where they're from. That's really good.
Yeah.
Like it's tough, man, because like they're playing in a lot of these mixed tournaments, right? Like, so we're talking about this, like, and you have an E women's team playing a B team. Yeah, I mean the D team's playing the C team, so it's really skewed for us to sit here and talk. Like, I give the women so much fucking respect for this
Oh
because
yeah.
our men's teams would never do this, never ever do this. Like they would really struggle on a week in and week out thing of doing this. So my head is off to them. That's awesome. Carry on, sir.
No, for the record, I agree wholeheartedly. like
Same.
I
Yeah, we're all the
definitely
same
agree.
page.
So women's D is obviously one of our bigger divisions. You got Michigan Havoc at 12-5, Dirty Ball at 8-5, Lady Vengeance at 0-9, Impact at 3-5, Ubuntu at 2-2, OTF at 1-2, SNC Sports at 1-3. And I think this is kind of, in my opinion, your two top dogs for me are Havoc and Dirty Ball in the D division.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, look at their records. I
Yeah.
mean that's very well. I mean, identified right off the get. And on top of that, dude, like just think about it like this, dude. Like those two teams can play and handle their own versus like if they play the Dough Babes. I mean, if they play Daddy Hex, like those two are going to compete with those teams. So not only are they going to be very good against their own class, but they're competing very well against the class above them, and that's what is going to set them up. Having those battles and doing that when they go down and they play in Worlds,
Yep.
both of these teams
100%.
are going to be fucking really good.
100%.
I mean,
I don't know what we have, if we have anything. I think we have a few E teams. Yeah, we do got E teams. Wait, shit, wrong button. My bad. No, we got one E team, and it's Finest Smoke 0-3. And I don't even know. They're still a team, right? I believe they are.
so I'm going to ask you guys both something, and I'll start with the One Nation world, and then I'll ask in all of softball. On average, who would you say is the toughest state to play against team wise in One Nation? Like when we go down and play in like one of these big tournaments at Berliner, where you're like, damn, like they're gonna bring it. When you play a team from this state, normally they're going to be good.
If I'm gonna start it off, I'm gonna hate myself for saying this, but Ohio. I hate giving Ohio credit.
I'm gonna say Indiana.
I'm gonna agree with G on this because normally when you're playing them, it's either gonna be a stacked team out of Indy or you're gonna be playing one of the Amish teams. So, dude,
The best both.
now I'm gonna ask you outside of that realm. I'm talking anywhere in the country.
Out of One Nation, just in general, right?
Just in general, like you go like here, you go to USSSA Florida Worlds, you're playing this fucking team, and you're like, that team that they're from said state. Odds are they're gonna be good.
Florida or Georgia?
I'm gonna say Texas or Kentucky.
Texas is a good one too, actually. But it's weird,
I
man.
actually, in the state of Texas, can get mad at me. I don't know. I feel there's 8,000 teams in Texas, but it's
how do we get Rippy going?
They're just like, but dude, it's Florida. Like you play anyone out of Florida. I don't care. They that's the where you're to go play the team that's like 3-2 on the year, and that's you're playing game one at Worlds, and they're 3-2 on the year, and you're looking like, how are they 3-2 in this tournament? And they come out there and score, 17 runs in the first inning, and you're like, oh shit.
Well, then you
Yeah,
got
I mean,
like states like North Carolina, in my opinion, are always the, I don't want to say shockers, but they're like a surprise. They usually are surprising. Like they're not. I don't think big softball when I think of North Carolina, but when we've played against North Carolina teams, they've always been solid. But the way that Florida is when it comes to that shit is stupid. Again, the 3-2 teams, the how are these guys legal? This guy came from this roster 2 days ago. Like the way that they are able to finesse the system is fucking beautiful. And then Georgia's always just the southern swag, built for this country type shit. I don't fucking know.
I remember years ago. I mean, it's a long time ago, but all of their teams, like literally, like all of their best teams, were just D teams. And how they had it is everyone registered as a D team, and then they had it where like when they played locally, there was a D plus, and then there was like a D plus plus. So basically, if you're a regular D team, you're just D. If you were a C team, you're D plus, and if you're a B team, you're D plus plus. So like going to Worlds, they all went to D Worlds, right? But that's the same year, like at the Peachtree Major, Cut 4, which was a D team, or Southern Mayhem, which was a D team, were finishing top 5 at a major, beating A teams, double A teams, and you're like, how in the world is this happening? But it's just, and shocker, both those teams finished in, I believe, the top 3 or 4 that year at Worlds. So it's, there's a ton of those conversations we have.
So while we're on that topic, not to switch it, but it kind of rolls into it. The lack of USSSA tournaments and involvement this year in Michigan, do you feel like it's setting us up for failure come Worlds time?
I'm not going to say that because I feel like all these teams are active and playing softball regardless.
Rules aren't that much different.
I mean,
They are.
I mean, softball is softball, right? Like one home run hitter getting that guy is not, because you really think about it. If we really go through like and just talk about every team in Michigan, how many teams has like that legit home run hitter where it's like, no doubt my man's money is the home run hitter, because I believe personally, like that's the hardest thing to get right.
Don't run, Ayala. Stay here.
I mean,
baby.
Told you tonight's getting extra hot, homie.
So for me, I don't think that is. I think on the other hand, you're just looking at the picture of like Michigan softball in general, and it's like alarming when you don't see those events going on. I mean, so Jay, I'm not trying to come at y'all like that. I don't think any of us are. But I would love to hear, because Suchi was in here all the time earlier this year, and I haven't seen Suchi in the chat very much at all lately. I would love to hear Jay, Suchi, somebody talk about what's going on, and
somebody do something.
Could be a good guest appearance on one of these shows here, Ayala.
For those commenting in the chat about brackets, so. Not to get sidetracked because we're going to jump right back in, but the basis of our 2 shows was Tuesday to be more of a recap, Thursday to be more of a preview. From now on, expect the brackets and the predictions and all that fun stuff to be on Thursdays for King Seat. We have to be able to separate our content. Us stopping shows due to lack of content, we're trying to work on that as well. So if we don't, throw everything out on Tuesday, we have stuff for Thursday, and Tuesday can actually.
We do need to do the rankings.
Yes. Well, nothing happened. Yeah, nothing happened this week for us to really alter the rankings at all. After this weekend, obviously things can definitely change. But this Thursday will be when we go over the actual rankings. But so like and again the Challenge Cup thing, we talk about the rules and regulations and guidelines and things like that. We've played, if I'm not mistaken, only one USSSA tournament this year. Does that affect our team's eligibility for Challenge Cup, or If a team wasn't able to make that one tournament, will it affect their eligibility for Challenge Cup? What exactly are the guidelines that we're going to have to follow, or will there be loopholes or exceptions that'll be made? You know what I mean?
Right. Hopefully not. Like, hopefully it's just going to be, something put in place where the best teams are being selected. I mean, at the end of the day.
Well, we talked about the Hall of Fame coming back and player awards this year, and
The players.
yeah,
The best player.
all types of stuff. How about I come on the show next week with some facts? I would love that.
There you go. Hey,
That would work out great, Ayala.
Be fantastic.
That would work out.
I mean, because at the end of the day, like, I mean, we just want to watch Michigan softball succeed.
Yes,
Yeah,
1000%.
oh yeah.
That
So
is
it's
tenfold.
I mean, so I'm not. I don't think. I mean, I'll speak on my behalf. I'm like, I'm not. I don't need quote unquote facts. I think we would just like to hear like the direction, some idea of what's going on, things like that. You know what I mean,
100%.
Yep.
yeah.
And that's another thing too, and we can all agree on it. And Jay, I know you know us better than that. Our thing here isn't to bash a sanction or a player or a team or nothing ever. Just talk about it. If you can come on here and give us the knowledge to where everyone can hear it and see it and understand what's going on, that's the whole purpose behind what we're doing, is pushing Michigan softball forward and in the right direction. Not at all trying to throw shade on nobody. It's just we talk softball.
Lancaster, stop being a hater. Canes is amazing.
Canes is amazing.
Hey.
Oh, he
I know, man. You gotta
did.
get him on the right day. You gotta get him on the right day. I had it once, and it was the one time I put it on the scale, and it was way too cooked. It was way too done in the fryer. It was way too crispy, way too dry. It was like I couldn't put enough sauce on it to make it like.
Shout out to Shannon Green for the hack at Canes. You get the three tenders with extra bread. Oh, dude, that shit goes hard.
Oh.
Not at 3:30 p.m.
So my question is,
later than that.
Because this is what everyone from Michigan always, Chick-fil-A or Canes?
Canes.
Chick-fil-A, bro.
Canes. I'm Canes now. Since I had it once, bro, I'm
chicken
Canes.
sandwich, dude. Out of here.
So
it's funny. I had the same 3-piece you were talking about, and I've had a Chick-fil-A. I guess I've never had a 3-piece tender meal from there, but I've had their spicy chicken sandwich, and I've had Cane's chicken sandwich, and
Flip, you tripping, Shane.
No, so here, I'll say this. Here, the Cane sauce is better, in my opinion, than the Chick-fil-A sauce.
Yes.
And the Texas toast from Cane's, bro. Come on now.
Jimmy, yo.
Oh, he did here. What do you guys think? But you can't say that about then say with Chick-fil-A all they have is fucking chicken sandwiches, bro. Like,
grow up.
They also have their waffle fries, which are amazing.
Waffle fries are great.
So another topic that got brought up.
This has been an ongoing debate with myself and my good friend Jimmy Lancaster.
I'm taking Chick-fil-A all day
for a minute now. That's why. Yeah, I mean,
this is why we're clear.
That's my guy, but
So another topic that got brought up that I want to make sure we touch on, because I saw a post the other day about an Indiana team. Percola's the one who commented it about teams trending to get bumped after the season. So we kind of touched on it in the rankings, but there was a team in Indiana, I believe it was an Amish team, that got bumped after playing one USSSA tournament in Indiana. They played one tournament and got bumped after it. So they went from E to D playing one tournament. What the fuck?
Where's Rodney Fizzle at?
I know I've heard people are upset. I'm a USSSA director and playing One Nation, not giving 100% to USSSA. But going into this, I was 100% committed to my D team this year before I agreed to help. So Jay, nobody can really fault you for that, right? Like at the end of the day, if you're trying to help, you're trying to help. If you're wanting to manage a team and then you said, well, I'll help these guys out as well. It is what it is. It's more so you're not the only guy on that list that we were given in the beginning of the year. We had word on the show.
I mean, there's like 7.
Yeah, we had word on the show. He gave us guys who were there who are going to run tournaments and things like that. And it's been a little bit of crickets as of late versus obviously you've always been active. I haven't talked to Word or Suchi or any of those guys. I haven't seen Galiniak make a tournament or run a tournament or anything like that. And again, I could be wrong, but I have not seen nothing posted or advertised. And if you're lacking in the advertisement spot, bro, I mean, you got us right here. I mean, come on.
What did Jimmy Smartass comment on there?
Dude, James Rippey, any C teams looking for a move. I can't play for this dude.
He's an A player anyways. Next.
Jimmy, if you can find out a way, change your name to Lemmy Jancaster and come play for your boy.
Soft.
I'll
quit being soft, Jim.
I'll take Lemmy Jancaster all day.
We don't have anymore.
Dude, I reached out to him for the Moof.
Take Pat Lancaster. That's who you should pick up.
Pat won't play for me, man. Somebody tell Pat hit your boy up. He won't play.
Get old Patty Cakes off the bench, off the couch. He's a clown.
He won't play, man. I tried. I definitely tried. How do you guys feel? Maybe this can lead into the next topic because I could offer him money. How do you feel about players allegedly being paid money to play for teams?
That's gonna be really simple. It depends on what level they're at.
So Rippy, you're at the A level, right?
Correct.
Do you pay or give you what type of financial compensation do your players receive for coming to tournaments?
As a whole?
If any. Just what all, I mean, and I don't want to get too much into like your team's finances, but
we're a slugger team, so they get their equipment taken care of. They get all of their travel taken care of, their flights, rental cars, their hotels, all of that's taken care of.
Okay.
But not a single soul is getting paid money to be there, an envelope every single weekend. Now, earlier this year, we had some drama, and some guys promised some stuff, and that's why, I mean, we end up now have merged with Cornerstone and in a great situation. But saying all that, no one at the local level, so at the C level and below, should be getting paid money to show up to play softball. Not a soul. There's no one. I mean, no, and I don't give a fuck. Here, and if you think you're that good, then why are you at the level you're at? So if you think you got it like that you should be getting paid to be there, please tell me why you're at that level. And I'd love to hear about it, because then it's unexcusable for you to be at that level.
So my thing, and this is just me, I'm going to be very blunt when I say this. If you are a team...
Zach, that's fair.
if you are a team paying someone or having someone come out and telling them, I'll throw you some money, you fucking suck.
You're ruining the game.
I don't care how your record is, how good your team is without this person. If you hit somebody up and say, I'm going to throw you some money or anything, like, you suck. The only thing I can understand, and I wouldn't be mad at, I guess, hey, look, I'd come play, bro, but you know, I can't afford it this week. I can't afford gas or something. Like, look, I'll throw you some money for gas. That's cool. But if you're like, hey, I'll slide you $100 to come out this weekend, you suck. You suck. Your team sucks. You suck. I don't care. I give my guys gas money for traveling.
It's not good for the game.
Yeah, so Jay, so okay.
So unless you're trying to move up.
Yeah,
you're trying to move up. So like, it's not, I feel like, it's bad.
No.
But if you're like trying to sandbag to play guys to come out and sandbag and just beat up on like lower class teams, and yeah, it's a little bad.
And that's what I'm saying. So Jay, this is not even directed. If you're giving your guys gas money, cool. Like, for instance, I found out at the last tournament we played.
That's what I'm saying.
That I got guys traveling 3.5 hours to come play a local 8-team tournament, and they have to book a hotel, and then we played till midnight. So they booked a hotel that night too. I offered to help them out on the hotel cost. I'm not paying them to come play, but I also don't want my guys dropping $200 to come play in an 8-team tournament.
There's a big difference between helping someone. getting there or with their
There's a big
lodging.
difference in doing that and handing them $200 in cash, saying,
Yeah.
"Here, thanks for coming out." It's just
Well,
a big difference.
Right. I mean, that's right. And if you have that ability to pay people, and then once again, I'm going to ask, why are you at the lower levels?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Because like, if you have that, there's a lot of people that have a ton of money, and great for them, happy for them. There's some wealthy people in this world. There's some wealthy people that love softball. That does not mean it's okay to. I'm going to start. Hey, I'll give you $2,000 if you play on my D team this year, my E team this year, my C team this year. That's some bullshit. Like, now you're literally going to be the root of the cause of the downfall of the game.
Yep. I just, again, a little birdie said something about money. Flip, what class team you run? I run a D team. Rippy runs an A team, and G plays for a C team. Before I started playing conference, I never asked or expected anyone to pay for anything for me. I'm happy as hell that my sponsors just pay for my trip. Exactly. That, again, if you're saying, "Hey, look, I know you drove 4 hours for this tournament, man. Here's you $50 to get home," or again, in my case, where I had no idea these guys booked hotels like that, let me help you out with it. Again, it's not about helping them in that aspect. It's about, hey, here's you $100 for coming to play for me, or hey, I need you this weekend. I'll give you $200 to come out. Like, that to me is just fucking weird, especially when you're, I don't know, even higher levels to me. I mean, unless you're up there like Rippy is, to me it's weird. I think you suck.
Well, the game changes. I'll say this right now. The game at the conference level compared to like a regular open or local level is completely different. It is literally business like. Guys have different approaches, different mindsets. Like, I mean, a guy hits through the middle here and down, people get all upset, and it is what it is. At the conference level, a guy goes 0-2 in a game, they're going to do everything. They do not care. It's by all means necessary, because they're trying to. I mean, there's financial reasons behind things. It's financially driven why they're going to do what they got to do to get on base. So it's a business, right? Like, it's a different mindset. There's not you don't hear that shit talk. They don't hear a lot of the bull. I mean, it's a pure game, but the competitive nature is through the roof still. I mean, it's not that don't dip. It's not. It's not the same. I mean, that's what I'm saying. So like, for me, you look at shit like that, right? Like we're talking about, like the difference of the game, and that's where you see the huge difference of money. You see the difference of that shit. I mean, but you're also asking a guy from that lives in North Carolina to be at a tournament in Chicago, Illinois. Oh, and by the way, you got to be there. It starts at 4:00 on a Friday, so then you have to miss a day of work. Also, by the way, I mean, it's a lot to ask of. I mean, it's a lot of commitment. It's a completely different mindset, man. I mean, so.
I mean, putting myself into that perspective as a player, it's like, yeah, dude, that means I got to manage my PTO at work, which puts another strain on my daily life every day.
Yeah.
Amen.
And
A lot to ask.
Ayala in the chat also say this: when I get my guys out there for a festival cash event, I pay the entry fee. Say we win 1,000, I split the money evenly between all the players. That's if I coached or played, the guys earned it. Again, completely cool. Like, not even close to what I'm talking about. That, again, commendable.
No, here we're specifically fucking talking about when you pick a player up, and for no other reason, you're telling them, "Hey, if you come play this weekend, I'll give you $200."
Yeah, that's.
Hey,
what
if you play, if you commit to my team this year, I'll give you $1,000.
Yeah. Fuck
hey.
no.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
Hold on. Here comes G. Here comes G.
Hey, I look at that as like, depending on the situation there. If you're trying to move up and be better and more competitive, I don't necessarily hate that. If you're a D team that's maybe trying to play C and some guy got reclassed from B to C plus, and you can put him on your C team, and it might cost you $1,000 to get him to play with you.
No.
I'm not necessarily hating that.
No.
But
no.
Zero. Nope.
No.
Nope.
You will never
That's
see me say
G,
I will pay you to come play for
you're-
me. Not gonna happen.
Hey,
Gee, what area? You're
that
asking a guy. You're asking a guy that lives normally 98
Fucking
out of
weird.
100 times in the state of Michigan, right? So you're gonna say,
See,
all right,
you're
this guy.
putting that spin onto it. You're putting the spin on the guy living out of state and stuff. I didn't say anything about that.
No. What I'm trying to say is, so if this guy lives in the state you're living in, you're playing now at the C level. So I'd say if you play 12 tournaments, 7 to 8 of them are in the state of Michigan. So what the fuck are you paying him for? Like, what commitment? He don't have to take off work.
Well,
You don't have to put in extra work.
Shit, not
You're
lately. We were playing in Ohio mainly.
Yeah, I mean, how many tournaments have you played in Ohio this year?
Few.
Right. So if you play in 12 tournaments, 4 or 5 will be out of state. That's what I said.
So
Seven
you're
or
paying
8.
for half. You're paying for half the year in travel too. I guess I don't know. That's what all I'm saying.
But it's a
is,
difference
like, if
between
you're
saying
trying-
you'll cover my
if you're
man's
trying to move
travel.
trying to move up and play more competitive ball, and it takes that. There should be nothing. If you're trying to sandbag and bribe someone to come play on your team,
It don't
there's a
matter.
difference.
If
That's all I'm
you're
trying to
playing
say.
at a local
All I'm trying
level,
to say.
you should not be getting $1.
So
It's not. We're talking. I thought you were talking regional level. You're talking Ohio and Michigan. You're talking regional at that point.
No, playing C softball is not regional. You don't go play in Illinois. You don't go play in Indiana. You don't go play in Kentucky or Pennsylvania.
Definitely
you
have the
travel
opportunity to.
3 hours to go to Berliner or 3 hours to go over to Canton to play.
So we're running.
No one should get paid.
Yeah, we're running close to the cutting
That's
time.
my point.
I would say this: if I'm spending money, without question, the only spot I'm gonna spend that money is at Creative Autosports Restorations, located conveniently at 3382 Warren Drive in Waterford. You can check them out online at creativeautosportsusa.com or on Facebook at Car Creative Autosport Restorations. All insurance companies are welcome. They pay your deductible. They are lease turn-in specialists. So if you got dings, dents, or scratches or anything like that you need fixed before you got to turn that vehicle in, they can take care of it. And they can also get that old school out of the garage you've been meaning to work on and get it back in tip-top shape to get on the road. You can contact Dave at 248-599-3104 and tell him Off the Bench sent you. He offers cash discounts for softball players. Drop bombs from Mr. Lotar.
I'm going to ask,
Oh, go ahead.
before we get off here, I'm going to ask.
God, yes.
Pick
Birchie. I see you.
Pick a player that stood out to you in each division this year that can't be on your own team.
Well, fuck.
I mean, I already gave mine in C last week. Nate from Taffin.
All right.
I mean, I haven't watched enough D and E to know rosters. I feel like
you need to step your game up, homie.
I guess you're right. I didn't know you were gonna put me on the spot like this.
So, what about you, Flipper?
I'm gonna go with some. Does it have to be like who I think the top dog is, or just people that like have stood out?
Just someone that stood out to you.
So I will say in C, I think Dupuy on Sting has stood out. In D, I'm gonna go with Bobby Ream from Murder Mitten. In E, I'm gonna go with Austin Schaefer from Core.
Yeah.
And I hate using him because he's a D player in E, but whatever. Yeah, and shout out to Lita too. Drew Mitchell for Broadstone. I don't really know what class they'd be considered, but Drew has absolutely been balling this year. So I got give him some love too.
He has definitely been. I've been playing against him a few times. He's been smashing glove and stuff like a hockey goalie out there.
Yeah, I don't want to discredit him, but I'm just naming the guys off the top of my head. But yeah, Drew definitely gets credit. Rippy, what do you think? He might have to step his game up, G.
No, Doan from Bum Squad has looked really good every time I watch the play. He's a good ball player. So I'll say him in E. In D, I guess this is cheating a little bit, but I think Dugan is a monster and on the bump. Like if Dugan wants to take pitching serious and Dugan looks like he has potential to really take steps forward to be playing at higher levels if he keeps moving up. He fields it, he can hit. Yeah, I mean, he's great dude. So I'll say Dugan at the C level. Man, I don't I was gonna say Dupuis also. And everyone is showing love to that dude. You know, I don't know. I'm a big Kyle Lawson fan. Like every time
Lawson.
that dude whacks it.
Fucking
Yeah, I
love
mean,
Lawson.
so
Yo, you want to hear something crazy too? That I don't know how many people have paid attention to this, but it's like an absolute fucking cheat code. Did you know Dupuis is rated E in One Nation?
I mean,
I caught that. It'll change here in the next 10 days because of the roster lock classification lock, bro.
him and Billy came here. I mean, they're boys. I think kind of came up together. They started on Phenom last year and
I think
moved
they
over to
played some
Sting together.
together.
What they were on the I think they were on Sprizzy the year before with fucking Cat
Yeah,
and Bobby and those guys. Hey,
yeah,
those
Yep.
dudes are gonna be the real deal, man. They're gonna play.
they are the real deal. They whack it.
Okay, August 1st is the class lock. My bad.
Okay.
All right. So before we get off here, make sure you go to our page and click like on Facebook. Like our Facebook page to be automatically entered into a giveaway. At 2,000 page likes, we're giving away a Smash Ops Gorilla backpack. At 5,000 page likes, we're giving away a Smash Ops Gorilla roller bag. Check us out on all social media. That's TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, anything social media is at Off the Bench Live. Make sure you go follow us, like us, everything. Anything you can think of, do it. I have a system now for our YouTube channel, so I will be uploading more videos. Also, round of applause for everyone that has subscribed. We reached our goal of 100 subscribers.
you.
We actually surpassed it. We were at 113, I think, the other day when I checked. So that is
Right.
freaking awesome. So we will be uploading more content. Other than that, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Check out Thursday. We will be going over the brackets for the weekend, also playing our little bracket prediction game, and much, much more. We will keep you
I come
guys
back.
in the loop.
I gotta keep that lead, boys.
No, you
Yeah,
lose
I
shit.
gotta make a little comeback. Yeah.
I'm coming for
Y'all
blood this weekend.
Y'all ain't shit.
All right, folks. See you on Thursday at 9 p.m. for King Seat. We out.
Later, y'all.